So before I start my nature journaling, I want to tell you about the snake. We were going out in the car, and as I was walking down the driveway, my husband said, "There's a copperhead in the stone wall." So of course, immediately I went over to look, and I noticed a little garter snake. As I walked around to the other side of the stone wall, I could see its face very clearly. And there was a dull look to the snake, and its eyes looked clouded over. And you could see the skin just starting to peel on its nose. So this snake was ready to molt. And what it does is first, it rubs its nose against a rock to loosen the skin. And then it scrapes itself across the rock, and the whole skin gets peeled off inside out in one piece. Just before they molt, the snake is kind of blind because the skin over its eye is clouded, almost looks like a cataract. Howdy, Possum Patty here. It is May 31st and I am nature journaling. I'm going to go down the old track again. This time I'm going to go to the right. And right down at my feet are a few more of those boneset plants. One there. And one over there. And high pressure and control today. And why am I always talking about the weather? Because everything in nature responds to moisture, light, and temperature. The temperature today is a little below normal and breezy, but it's lovely out. Good day for a walk. Looking to see if I can find any more of those spring peeper frogs I saw the other day. Then I saw this little light-colored moth. I think it's a large lace-bordered moth. Because my sources say that you can find this during the daytime, resting in plain sight. The pattern on it is pretty hard to see in the video, but it did have a very delicate pattern along the edge of the wings. So I found one of the trees that I had seen earlier and stopped to examine it. I wonder what this is. I think this is that twig that was opening up earlier in the season. Well, this is interesting. Well, to me anyway, it's interesting. This looks exactly like that little twig that was growing in the back by the beech tree that I was sketching the other day. So I guess it's going to be a tree, but I don't know what kind of tree. And the leaves are like in little whorls. And I don't know what it is. I found a vine which may be a moonseed vine. I'm going to have to go back and sketch that another day. I wonder if this is going to be a moonseed plant. I'll have to come back later in the season, check it out again. I looked at some ferns. I'm getting confused. There's so many different ferns. Wow, there's so many ferns, it's easy to get confused. But I think the one that looks like this, got oak flowers on it, is the hay-scented fern. And the one that looks like this is the New York fern. I think this is the hay-scented and this is the New York. Over by the seep there were some Jack-in-the-Pulpits blooming, but there were also lots of little ones and medium-sized ones too. I'm down by the spring seep checking on the Jack-in-the-Pulpits, and I found one that was blooming here. And underneath it is a bunch of little tiny ones. And behind me is a bunch of little tiny ones down there in the sun. And over here is a bunch of medium-sized ones. Ooh, a whole patch of them back here and behind me, everywhere. Looks like there's going to be lots of Jack-in-the-Pulpits. I found another handsome looking sedge. And here's one of those sedges that I really like. Might be the shining burr sedge back here. It's also good to use other senses besides your eyes when you're nature journaling. You use your ears to listen to bird songs, and you use your nose to see what you can smell. It smells good back here, but I don't know what the smell is coming from. I did find the little plant by Stumpity Rock, and maybe it's a wild yam. There's a plant I want to check. It was growing by the royal ferns, but my goodness, I don't even see the royal ferns right now. I'm going to keep looking. Well, there's a nice patch of royal ferns. I'm looking for the rock with the stump on it that had two big roots. And next to that was a plant I want to check. I finally see it after walking in circles for a few minutes. Now that's the rock I was looking for. And where's the plant? It's down here. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's one of those plants like I saw up the other side of the property. But I still don't know what it is. Okay, I want you to come way down here with me. This is the Indian Cucumber Root plant, and it is in bloom. The flowers are under the second tier of leaves. Pretty fancy, huh? And the Indian cucumber root plant was blooming, so I drew a picture of its fancy flowers and looked up some information. It's in the lily family. And the buds are above the top whorl, but the flowers droop down below the top whorl, and then again, when it forms berries, the berries go up above the top whorl again. Because it's in the lily family, its reproductive parts are in groups of 3. So it has 3 stigmas, or the female parts, and 6 stamens, which are the male parts, where the pollen is. It also has 6 yellowish-green tepals, T-E-P-A-L-S, tepals. Most plants have brightly colored petals on the outside ring, and then the second layer are the green sepals. And then some flowers, like the Indian cucumber root, have what's called tepals. You can't tell the petals from the sepals. They all look the same, and they refer to them as tepals. Thanks for coming along today. Bye-bye.